Hey guys, in today's video, we're going to be building out an automated social media machine capable of posting content to all of our social media platforms automatically. Let's get right into it. All right, so in this video, we're going to be using live content from around the internet to generate social media posts that we can post across Facebook, Twitter, etc., etc. Now we're going to build in a little bit of a review system just because I think that's the best way to build these automated social media posting machines, because I just don't want to post anything live to my subscribers that contains an error or a grammatical mistake or something that I just don't want to post live. So we're going to build in a slight review triage unit in this video, but I think it's best practice and I think it'll help you guys out. So without further ado, let's hop right into this thing. Okay, so step one is we're going to come into make.com here and we're going to drop in an RSS feed module, specifically this watch RSS feed items module. All right. And we need a URL. We need an RSS URL. Essentially what we're going to do here is we're going to pull in articles or blog posts from a website called The Ringer, which I absolutely love. They do sports, pop culture. And basically what we're going to do is every time The Ringer posts something to their RSS feed or to their website, we're going to pull in that article and we're going to create social media posts based on the content in that article. And then we're going to basically rehash that out to all of our followers on our social media platforms. So the first thing we need to do is get a Ringer RSS feed URL so that we get their articles automatically fed to us every time they're posted. So in order to do that, we're going to come to the Ringer here, and this works for all sorts of different types of content sources. You don't have to do the Ringer. You don't have to do sports. You could do news. You could do fashion, food, whatever you want to do. And so you're just going to come to their website. You're going to right click and go to inspect. I'm in Chrome, but if you're in Safari, I think you just go to view page source, I think. And then what we're going to do is just Command F and search for RSS. And then it should pop right up. And so we can see right here, this line right here is the Ringer RSS feed. And so I'll show you what this looks like in a new tab. This is essentially what the RSS feed looks like. Okay. So find that for your site, copy the URL, and then we're just going to post it right here into make.com. We're only going to return the latest Ringer blog post via the RSS feed. So I'm just going to leave that at 1, and then I'm going to hit OK. And I'm just going to select the first RSS feed item here and manually pull in their latest article. But we have a bunch of options here. When we're done with this, we'll switch this to from now on. So it just pulls anything, any new article in the future. But for now, we'll use some test data here and go to their latest one. We'll hit OK. And we're just going to hit run here and make sure that this RSS feed is working. And perfect. So we're pulling in their latest article titled J-Lo, Mary-Kate Olsen, Natalie Portman, Jam Session. So we're pulling data out of the Ringer. Now let's repurpose their content into our own social media posts automatically. So step number 2 is we're going to add an open AI module here, create a completion. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to use AI to write our social media captions or content for us. We're going to have it write commentary or captions. We're also going to have it create an image for us. And then we're going to send that to a database for us to review before we post it automatically once we're happy with the outcome. So add an OpenAI module here. You want to connect to OpenAI. You're going to have to do this by hitting add and then going to your OpenAI account. You're going to have a paid plan to do this. But you got to go to your OpenAI account and you got to drop in your API key. Pretty easy. I'll have a link down in the description so you know where to grab that at. But I already have this set up in this video, so I am integrated with OpenAI. I'm going to change this to create a prompt completion. I'm going to choose the latest model, GPT 3.5 Turbo. My prompt is going to be something like this. You're a social media assistant. I'm going to send you an article, and I would like you to create a social media post based on that article. Give it some rules, make it short, no HTML tags, light emoji use is okay. And then what we want to do is we want to pull in the article from the RSS feed or from the Ringer. And so we're just going to click here, this description field, which is where the actual article inside of the Ringer is coming from. And we're going to give this max tokens of, I don't know, 1,500. And then we're going to hit OK. All right, so now let's just test and make sure that OpenAI is making good social media content for us based off that latest JLo article. Okay, so we'll just send in some test data here, and then we'll hit run. And we can see OpenAI just ran. And we can see here's what it came up with. JLo's got nothing on the drama happening at Netflix this week. Cool, we got some hashtags, we got some emojis. This looks pretty good, especially for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anything like that. So that is looking pretty good. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add another OpenAI module, and this time we wanna create an image. We wanna create a picture for our social media posts. We wanna do it automatically. So to do that, we're just gonna scroll down here to generate an image. Again, connect to your OpenAI account. And then I'm gonna use DALL-E 3. And then my prompt is gonna be something like create a creative image that fits the post we are going to post on Facebook or something like that. You can give it rules. You can embellish that more. Really create a nice prompt if you want, but this will work good enough to get the point across in this video. Now the post that we want to base our image off of, because we don't just want a random image, we want an image that somehow ties into the social media post that OpenAI just came up with. So let's just plug in the OpenAI content or post caption that we just created, and then the image will basically generate based on the words in that post. Okay. So again, let's run this one more time. Make sure that we're getting good content and a good image. So we'll just run this to test it. And we can see everything's running. It's creating an image now. Okay, cool. So that is done. We'll check our result here for our caption. So that looks good. Nice, sweet, short and simple caption. And then we'll come to our image here. And we should be able to see what our image looks like. Okay, so it spits it out in this URL. So we can come right up here, plug in the URL, and we can see, boom, here's a weird AI image based off the JLo Mary-Kate Olsen caption that we just came up with. Again, not ideal, but you can always come back into your prompt here and say, make this more realistic, make this less AI looking, stuff like that. So you can play with the prompt there, but we're gonna go with it for now. It'll be good enough. Okay, so now that we have all of our generated content for our social media posts, we have a caption and an image, we could post this automatically right now to all of our social media accounts. We could come right here, we could add a Facebook module, we could add a Twitter module, we could add a YouTube module, et cetera, and post our generated content live onto those sites without any review. We could do it all automatically. Or we could go about this a better way, which I believe is we send all of our generated content or all of our proposed social media posts to almost a review trough or a review triage unit. And so that's what we're gonna do in this video. We're gonna send all of these posts that OpenAI is creating here to Airtable, where we can then review the content and the images before we post them live to Twitter or Facebook. So to do that, we're gonna come to Airtable here, and I'm just gonna walk you through kind of how this is gonna work. Essentially, we're gonna populate this table here, review content, with all of our proposed social media posts. And we're gonna review each post content and picture. And when we're happy with it, we can actually change the status to posted, which will then automatically send that posted content to another database, which will trigger our next make.com automation and post it live on Twitter or Facebook, etc. All right, so that's high level what we're gonna do. We're gonna create a little bit of a review system. It's still gonna be mostly automated, but this way we just feel a little more comfortable with what we're posting to our subscribers. So to do this, we're gonna come back to our make.com automation, and we're gonna add an Airtable module, and we're gonna create a record, okay? And again, you want to connect to your Airtable account by hitting this add button here and going through the authentication process. And then we're gonna just link to the base that we want, which is our social media tracker base. We're gonna choose our review content table, which is essentially our table right here where we're gonna send all of our posts to for review. And then we've got a couple fields here. We've got the post content field where we're gonna link the actual caption to. Then we've got our picture URL, which is the URL of that picture that super ugly AI picture of JLo. We're gonna also link in the URL of the Ringer article in case we ever want that. And then we have our status field out here, okay? So we're just going to map these fields. So post content, we're going to come to our OpenAI completion, and we're just going to bring in our text here, or our caption that OpenAI created. Our picture URL is going to come from our generate an image module here. And URL is going to come actually from our RSS feed back here. So this is actual the URL of the article on the Ringer. Status, we want status to equal to review. So this is a single selection field, and I've made two different options, to review and posted. And so all of these posts that we're sending to a review table, we want to come in automatically as to review. All right. And then we will toggle that to posted when we're ready to. But we want them to come in as needing to review or to review. So we'll hit OK. All right, so let's test all this out. Let's make sure that our RSS feed is pulling stuff in. We're creating a caption based off that article. We're creating an image based off that caption that we make. And then we're sending our caption, our image, and our article URL all to Airtable automatically. So let's pull in some fake data here. Again, we'll choose the JLo article, and we'll run this bad boy and see what happens. Everything's looking good. Creating an image. Okay, cool. Looks good. We'll come to Airtable here, and perfect. So we can see that we have populated our post content, our picture URL, the URL of the article, and we have a status of to review. All right, sounds good. So theoretically now we could click on this and see what content we're going to post. So for example, I see these weird tags here. I don't like these. So I can get rid of these manually here, or I could go back into our prompt in our second OpenAI module and create some more rules for OpenAI, like don't include any HTML or brackets or anything like that. But that looks good now, and that's why we're reviewing this manually. All right, so that looks better. So we can close that out, and then we can see our picture URL here. So this is what it created for our URL. Again, weird looking, a little provocative too. But good enough for this video. And then the actual URL of the article here. All right, so we can see where we're actually generating our content from. All right, cool. So that's looking good. All right, so the next step is we need to create a little Airtable automation which sends this proposed social media post to our posted content table automatically when we update our status to posted. All right, so after we review this, we update it to posted, and then we want it to post to Facebook and to Twitter. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to come to a second table here called posted content. It has the same exact fields as our review content table, our content, our picture URL, our URL, and then our status. I've created two additional fields here, which you will need if you're building it out like I am here. You're going to need to create a created time field. All right, so you can just create a new field, scroll all the way down and choose created time. That is going to serve as our trigger in our next make.com automation, which I'll show you here in a couple minutes. You're also going to need an auto number field out here. And again, you just create a new field and come and select auto number. All right, and you'll see what all this does here in a few seconds, but that is how we have it built out. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come into automations, and we're going to create a new automation. And what this is going to do is essentially make this ready to post. So this is going to be our ready to post automation. We're going to add a trigger, and when a record matches a condition, we're going to select the table whose condition we want met, so our review content table. And we want a condition of when our status is posted, okay? So when we change this to posted, we trigger our automation, all right? So that looks good. And then we're gonna actually give it an action. And our action is, we're gonna create a record in our posted table. So in our second table here, we want to create a record here. And then we're going to map our field. So our post content should just be the post content from the review table. Our picture URL is just going to be our picture URL field from the first table. Our URL is just going to be the URL field from our review table. And then our status. And our status field is going to be our posted option. So they're all going to be posted. All right, so that looks good. And so we're going to turn this on. And then let's go test this thing out. Make sure it's working. So right now we have nothing in our posted content table. But the second I switch this to posted, it should now automate in our posted content table. Perfect. So it shows up here. Now the reason we're doing this is because this posted content table is going to serve as the trigger for our next make.com automation, which we're about to build, which is going to be the automation that actually posts our reviewed content to Twitter, to Facebook, to all of our social media platforms. So that's why we are building out this posted content table. It will be the trigger for the next step in our video. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let's go to our next step. Let's come back to make, and we're going to make a brand new automation. So we have our automation we've been working on. Let's create a brand new automation with a brand new trigger. All right. And our trigger is going to be Airtable watch records. Okay. And again, we're going to connect to the appropriate Airtable account. And remember, we want this posted content table to be our trigger. So we're going to choose our base, which will be our social media tracker. And then we're going to choose our table, which is going to be our posted content table. And then our trigger field, we're going to have a created field. Remember, that's why we had to create this here, because what make.com is going to be looking for is essentially any new posts that it hasn't run yet. And it's going to use this time field or this created date field to actually trigger it. So you want it to be created. And then our label field is just going to be our ID. So it needs just a unique label. That's why we have this auto-populated ID coming in automatically in Airtable. Okay, so just map those fields. Our limit here is going to be 1 just because we want to post one at a time to Facebook, to Twitter. All right, and then the rest is good to go. We can hit OK. And then we're going to choose manually here, again, just for some test data. But when this thing is actually live, you'll want to choose from now on probably. All right, so there's our ID. There's our 11 row right here. So it's pulling that in, which looks good. And so I think we can run this now and just make sure everything's looking good. Okay, perfect. So we're pulling in our post content field from right here. And then we're pulling in our picture URL and then our actual article URL along with our status. So all of these fields here in our posted content table are now being pulled into make.com. All right, we're getting close, guys. Hang in there with me. The last thing we're going to do is we're actually going to post this to all of our social media accounts. So this is the exciting part. So you can do Twitter, you can do Instagram, you can do LinkedIn. In this video, we're going to do Facebook. And we're just going to go to Facebook pages and we're going to create a post with photos. And then again, you want to just connect to your Facebook account and then connect to your Facebook page that you want to post to. In this case, I've made a fake alexmake.com Facebook page. Go follow it. I don't even know if that's what you do on Facebook, but go be my friend. And anyways, we're going to go to photos and we're going to download a photo from a URL. And then we're just going to map our picture URL here. Okay. So this is just our picture URL. This is the same URL that OpenAI generated a couple steps ago with that super ugly JLo picture. Okay. So we're just mapping our picture URL there. You can add a caption if you want. I'm going to leave it blank. And then our message field is going to be like our actual content, which we have right here, post content. So this is the field that we reviewed earlier. We changed a slight little thing there with the brackets, and now it's good to go. So we're going to map post content to our message, and then we're going to hit OK. And now If I run this, again, we'll just choose some little fake data here. If I run this, we should post to our Facebook page over here. Once this is all done, so it's going to chug along. All right, looks good. So I'll come over here and refresh my Facebook page. And boom, there we go. So we've posted live to Facebook, our caption, and then our weird, ugly picture. So this is all working. Again, you could come back in here and you could also post to Twitter if you wanted, or LinkedIn, blah, blah, blah. You could do all this good stuff, but we're just gonna leave it at Facebook for now. So last thing we wanna do is we wanna just test this entire process, see if the whole thing is working, all of our automations, so that we have a fully automated, with a slight review, social media machine. Okay, so let's test this bad boy out. So again, we're gonna run this manually, and we're gonna choose, I think we're gonna do this Star Wars article here from The Ringer. Okay, so we're gonna create social media posts about this Star Wars article. And so we're just gonna run this. Okay, so we just pulled in from The Ringer, and then OpenAI just made our caption for us. It's now generating an image for us based off that caption. And then we'll send all of this to Airtable to our review triage unit. Okay, so it looks good. We'll come here and we can see that we've got our post here. So it just populated. All right, and so we can just review this and make sure everything looks good. So Disney has a chance to reignite the magic of Star Wars with their newest series, The Acolyte. No more recycled storylines. Perfect, grammar looks good. We've got a couple hashtags here. That all looks good to me. I think we're good to post that. Cool. And then we can look at the image, just see what that looks like. Okay, that's actually kind of sick. That actually worked out pretty well. All right, cool. So I like how this is looking. We can see the actual URL of the article from The Ringer. So we can link to that too if we wanted. So this is looking good to me. This is looking really, really good to me. And so what I'm going to do is, now that I've reviewed it, I want to post this. I want to post this to my Facebook account. And so I'm just going to switch this to posted, which will populate this here. Okay. Gives me a unique ID and a created time so that when I run this, we should post live to Facebook. Okay, cool. It found it. And we're posting to Facebook now. Cool. I'll come to Facebook here and I'll refresh. And boom, we have our Star Wars posting here on Facebook. Now, the last thing you'll want to do is actually when you publish this, workflow, you want to come and actually set the scenario or the interval with which you run this automation. So I've got it for every hour. We run these two automations. And so that would just check the ringer every hour for a new post. And that would just build up our queue here for review every hour. And then we would come in here at our leisure and then change these to posted when we're ready to post them. And then this automation would check that reviewed list every hour and post one every hour. So that is it, guys. That is how you build an automated social media machine inside of make.com. If you guys like this video, go down and smash that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing. That would really help me out. If you have any questions, get down in the comments and let me know. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much for being here and for all the support. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.